Hello and welcome, Andy and Jared, Cleveland and beyond. He's Andy Billman, I'm Jared Watson, and this podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out, original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Well, let's talk about the Browns today. The offense, how about that? Turned around, looks good. Nick Chubb, 3 touchdowns for the Browns, along with Baker Mayfield and some, decent passing. That was nice. Jarvis Landry, great game. Browns hang 40 points on the Ravens. Who can complain about that? The rivalry felt reborn during this game, and it's carried afterwards with talk from Odell Beckham Jr. and the whole choking incident with Marlon Humphrey. The Ravens feeling like there was no choking. That's bizarre. Finally, there was choking.
It's the most bizarre thing since Dolan saying he doesn't want to spend money to win.
Enjoy him while he's here.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally, we're going to preview the Browns as they head out west to San Francisco to play the Niners. Jed York and company, local guy,
yes,
local Ohio guy. And that's Monday night. Cavs open their camp. Wow, we have stuff to talk about the Cavs? Weird. Give a quick glance into what's going on. And finally, the Buckeyes roasted some corn on Did you make me say roasted some corn Saturday night? He put it in the rundown, and I just read it. Sunday night, as they blitz the Huskers. No, I did. I read what you put. I'm not doing that again. But first, you put it on the teleprompter. I'm going to read it.
That's right. They did roast some corn.
First, yes, that's great. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm pre-reading these. Yeah, that was a cold read, and that's what you get. Let's jump into this first. Your first place, Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns.
Buckeye fans, we roasted some corn on Saturday.
Oh, my God. I can't believe you did that. I am not happy with you.
And my day is now complete. Now let's go back to the Browns. What a difference a week makes. I mean, Jared kind of alluded to it in the opening that he didn't read before reading. But, we talked about this in a prior podcast, and not to take credit, but we will. We both emphasize how Nick Chubb and running the ball, when they do that, the Browns are more successful. And lo and behold, when you run, when you only throw the ball 31 times, you run 29 times, you're not in the shotgun as much. They were in a season low 52% against the Ravens on Sunday. It paid off. The running game drove the day. It drove the theme of the day. The big couple plays in this game were beginning of the second half, Ravens tie the game. The Browns in 3 plays because of Seals Jones, who we'll get to in this podcast, had a big catch. Chubb takes it in 17-10. The score just like that out of the half is something the Browns have not done, obviously, up in this year. And then to follow through, the Ravens were driving the ball, having a nice drive. And then the big play by Schobert, forcing Ingram to cut back. Whitehead with the hit. Chad Thomas picks up the fumble, and away you go. Those were the big 2 drives in this game.
That closing up on that gap there up the middle, that when you look at it, it was man, that could have very easily been a touchdown.
Again,
I feel like if the awareness was there, it knocking that ball out. Sorry, I just had to relive that a minute because I watched the video again yesterday, and I was like, wow, that could have gotten bad, and it didn't.
Though the series after the half, when the Ravens scored, for the Browns to answer quickly as they did, and then the Ravens were driving down the field. They were running it down the Browns' throat. The Browns really are having a hard time stopping Jackson or Ingram. And on that one play, you could feel it. The whole game changed. And I thought the drive before and that fumble. And by the way, the Browns did not fuck around. They went back down and scored 2. Those series of plays really summed up the day. But it all starts with Nick Chubb. I am starting to pump this, Jared, and you can pull me back if you want. I think Nick Chubb might be the best player on this team. I think Nick Chubb is that good. And I know people think I might be fucking crazy. And I'm not.
I don't think you're crazy, Andy. That's the thing. I don't think you're crazy. I think that what Nick Chubb does for this offense, if you allow him to, is sets the tone for everything else Baker is going to do.
I just feel like if you want long-term longevity and if you want overall athletic ability or whatever else, I mean, there could be debates had, and we know how important Baker Mayfield is, so I'm not trying to subtract that. But I'm telling you, Nick Chubb is a quiet superstar talent. And we saw it in the Raiders. We saw it in other games last year. And the thing that he doesn't get credit enough, which I think he's going to now, he has big play, home run ability. And we've seen it on multiple occasions. Falcons, Raiders, and this week against the Ravens. When he gets a hole and he has a seam, he can take it to the house and quickly. I mean, you saw Ravens pulling back. Bigger point, too, about this. 31 times they passed, 29 times you ran, and look how comfortable the game was. And it felt that way. For the first time, it didn't feel like we were forcing throws. And I think that really helped not only Nick Chubb, but it also helped Baker. I'm just saying, I think it really did.
You've got to also remember here, too, when we talk about being patient, the first few runs, even the first offensive possession, they didn't do anything.
They went,
right?
They basically went 3.
Right. It almost looked like, oh boy, here we go again on the first offensive possession. You got to be patient and continue to give Chubb the ball.
Yes.
1 yard, 2 yard. I don't care. 1 yard, 2 yard. I don't care because I know what he's going to do at some point.
Yes. And
I know what is going to happen when the offensive line blocks well for him, or when he's got good lead blocks.
Yes.
If a hole opens up, he's gone.
Oh,
he's gone. There is no one who can catch him when he hits stride.
To the house. And I grin. I'm going to give kudos to Jared. The running game is not sexy. The running game is not video game friendly. The running game sometimes too can be very 4 yards, but it's not 40. But it's 4 yards. And those things add up, and it allows your offense to open up when you do it properly. The other thing I wanted to get into, and you kind of tipped it off.
It allows for sexy to happen.
Yes.
Too, Andy. Sexy doesn't happen if you don't do this.
Not every time has to be, Tecmo Bowl for our age group, or, Madden in today's world. It doesn't have to be instant or quick. Sometimes patience pays off, and I think it did in this game. I saw this on social media, so I want to bring up quickly. This offensive line major freak out. I mean, reading on Twitter online during Browns games, I saw still a lot of complaining about the offensive line, which I'm just going to say it. I don't think the offensive line, I never thought it. I don't think it's a major concern. I just don't.
No.
I'm not seeing it. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit what Pro Football Focus fucking stupid stats say. The offensive line for the Browns are very good. I'm sorry. I mean, I saw protection. I saw Nick Chubb running wild. I saw things opening up, and I didn't really see too many moments where I was really fearful of protection. The Titans game was the only game this year, and that was just a shit show anyways. So I'm not even sure how to rate that game. But Jared, I thought the offensive line, is it a strength of the team? No, but it's also not a concern. I think there are too many fans, too many people nickel and diming this offensive line.
They put up 40 points.
Yes, it's enough. I don't want to hear about the offensive line being a major concern anymore. Just don't.
Nick Chubb doesn't get 3 touchdowns if the offensive line's that bad.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, I just don't. I was reading stuff on Twitter, and I was like, I just don't. What game are you watching? I mean, if you're going to analyze and break down every play and every second, well, you're going to drive yourself crazy. These mistakes happens all the time, and that'd be my big thing with the offensive line. I think it's becoming way too much of a non-story. That's how I'm going to put it. It doesn't mean, by the way, they make and we'll get to that, the Niners game. Doesn't mean they may not have bad moments, but I just don't see it as a major concern. The big second topic, which was all the topic going into this game, was Freddie's play calling. And look, if you're going to bang the guy, you got to also give him credit. I thought Freddie had a wonderful day play calling, obviously. It was a lot more mixed up. It felt like last year's last 8 games.
It did.
It really felt that way. Again, I'll say the stat throughout the whole podcast probably. 31 times the ball's in the air, 29 on the ground. When you have 50-50, it's amazing how the results were. They weren't in the shotgun as much. You didn't feel Baker being confused. Even the play call with Odell Beckham Jr. with the flip pass, and Beckham's got a gun. Throws it all the way down the field, and then our boy Ratley doesn't catch it. That's the only guy. If you had to pick on one guy, I thought Ratley did not play well in this game. But
and we've talked about this. Is Ratley? This is not gonna. And I really do think that had an effect on the first 3 games of the season, Andy. What I think too is that you're going to see. We talk about the sexy. We're coming up, and we'll get to this stuff later. That wide receiving core, this wasn't meant to be how it was.
It's like
we're going to finally see how it was meant to be in the near future.
This Monday night. Does that mean Higgins has a possibility of playing? Yeah.
Well, that's it. I haven't. I'll keep my fingers crossed with Higgins. I just think it's been strange the way he's been out and the way that Freddie's talked about him being out.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'll read into it is there's obviously something really bothering Higgins, and I think the Browns are not frustrated as like they're frustrated with him and they want to get rid of him. I think they're just frustrated that he hasn't been coming along faster, and I think Higgins is frustrated too. And I think it's one of those situations where everybody's compounding.
That's why I'm wondering if it's like some sort of bursitis, something that like holds on and doesn't let go.
Find out.
You know, that's the only thing I could think of.
I don't know.
Only thing I could think of.
We'll find out.
I don't know.
But Freddie's play calling was wonderful. And I think two other big things I want to touch upon. And we didn't talk about enough, and I shame on us, but we're going to bring it up today. You know, the Browns were ranked 28th going into the Ravens game on third down conversions. 28th. In this game, they were 6 out of 13. It's amazing running the ball more, getting third down conversions. And there was the big long drive in the first half. Third down to first down, third down to first down, time and time and time again. And Jared, that's how you win games. It's like 2-out hits in baseball. It is amazing how that happens. And it's the same thing on third downs. When you keep converting on third down, it can really be at the team mentally. And then I'll piggyback that with the fourth quarter. The Browns, I didn't realize this. The Browns hadn't scored all year in the fourth quarter, and they scored, and finally scored a lot of points, 16 points in total in the fourth. Again, third downs, scoring in the big quarters, you know, it's amazing. You win games comfortably.
Yeah, taking care of it in the red zone, getting
Much
7
better.
instead of getting. If we had to pick at anything, maybe the 2-point conversion. I don't know.
It wasn't good. It didn't work.
No.
It wasn't good. But again, all that combines into Freddie calls a better game, and then to our third big point, Baker played better. He didn't play great, but he played better. And, you know, here's some Baker quotes for people who might miss it. A quote, no, I played better. I made it easier on him, referencing to Freddie Kitchens' play calling. Anytime your quarterback sucks, it's probably pretty hard to play calls. He obviously did not want to give any credit to Rex Ryan. You know, again, 342, a lot of yardage, a touchdown interception. 20 out of 30 is accuracy numbers are still not to where you want it to be, but it's better. I mean, he's at 50%. Now you're at 66%. The thing I want to remind people is this is kind of how Baker started last year too, and it was a slow build to where he got. So I'm interested to see if this slow build continues, kind of like it did last year. So I would keep your eye on that. But Baker did play better. He didn't regress. He didn't play to the level we're wanting him to or envisioning him to. But Jared, I thought he played better in this game. Looked better. Looked crisp.
Yeah. What else are you going to say about it? You can even complain about the interception and say that Landry should have broken that up. I mean, you could
50-50.
You can argue that too,
50-50,
right?
Share the blame. Baker didn't throw the greatest pass, and Landry
he
pulled
put
up.
him out. He put it out in front of him a little bit too much, and
Landry pulled up. I mean, Landry pulled up. There's nothing else to say. You know, Landry's day was. If it wasn't for his concussion, I think Landry would have been up for some, voting of the week awards from offensive players. He was just all over the field. Landry was great. But to me, and what a lot of people have been talking about, and I want to talk about now, is Ricky Seals-Jones. To finally have a tight end. Now, it's one game. But, Jared, this continues.
You're right. Go ahead. Sorry.
I am ecstatic. And this is a big find for the Browns.
Well, I think where it bothers me is, man, I really liked Njoku, and you know that. But it can't be denied. As soon as the game was over, I went on waivers on my fantasy teams and swiped them up.
As you should.
Because Baker will continue to target him.
Hey, that tight end position the week before, it was Harris, Seals-Jones, a couple other guys I never heard of before coming off and just trying to make plays. And again, it's one game. But boy, in one game, does it look like we may have found ourselves a tight end. Yeah. And that will do wonders. And I think, the Seals-Jones, Beckham made some big catches. He only had 2, but he had 1 big catch in the fourth quarter that kind of put the game away. The big thing here, though, is I want to hit up on too. On the scoring drive in the first half, I thought this really kind of typified the day, and it was good to see Baker doing this. 6 different receivers on that drive. 6. Jared, it's nice to see Baker have some variety. It's nice to see Baker not forcing the ball.
Well, the variety thing is what he did all last year. He spread it around to 6, 7, 8 guys all last year. And that's what I was hoping would happen this season. Every week someone new is going to stand out.
Yes.
Right? Because schematically, a defense can only go after so many people on the field. And naturally, this is going to be Odell Beckham Jr. most of the time.
Yes.
Which we know Odell said, you want to double up on me? You want to play that way? That's fine. We'll hang 40 on you another way.
Yep. And it's going to be hard for the Niners and for other teams. If Landry plays like this, which we know Landry can, by the way, and Odell Beckham has one of his days where he tears it up, and Seals Jones becomes the player he might be, and Higgins gets healthy, Kareem Hunt's
and Callaway, who apparently is in great shape,
ready to go. He should be,
and fast as ever.
By the way, his job's on the line. He should be.
Well, yeah. Well, this is the thing that it's going to come down to with him: is 1, can he stay out of trouble, and 2, he needs to catch the ball. Right?
Hey, look,
his hands.
Yes, his hands. Look, I won't do this anymore. I promise. I'm good with Ratley. I don't need to see any more of that guy.
No,
I'm good.
No, that's exactly.
I am good. He stinks. Sorry.
Well, he got called on a couple. Didn't he get called on a holding call or something too?
False starts. Just dropping pass. Anyways, he a lot of Greg Little and Ratley, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I've seen this. I've seen this play. I have seen this play.
Yes.
4th points of defense. They did enough to win. I think people, and myself included, need to remember, though, the Ravens were running the ball over the Browns in this game. Now, that's the Ravens' strength, so it's not surprising.
Right.
But, it just needs to be remembered that the Browns did have a hard time stopping Ingram and Lamar Jackson. But, as we alluded to at the top, the big play with the fumble recovery, that really put the onus, and it reminds me of like an option team that the Ravens do. Once you made the Ravens throw, you really opened up yourself to the game, and it really took over from there.
Well, you did that by making them come from behind and play. Right. When you're making them play from behind, that style of offense
can't win.
Isn't suited. No,
can't win.
No, because what happened? I mean, Lamar went the first 3. What he had 249 passes without an interception, something like that.
Yep. But
and then we got 2 of them. I think Tony Grossi actually predicted that too. That was his big
by the way, you're right.
It.
You're right on the RBS show.
2 picks.
Yeah, and by the way, he was right.
Nailed it.
He nailed it. The thing about Lamar Jackson too, to what you're saying, that's when you get Lamar's uncomfortable. And when he's comfortable is when he's running around and it's a close game and he knows he can run the ball. Because the big thing that the Ravens did, which reminded me actually of his brother, Jim, the Ravens were down 14, and they were running the ball and just milking the clock. And I remember saying, go ahead. Run one of these long drives. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. They don't have time.
They don't have time is right, and you hit it. The only thing I would, again, though, caution, but the Browns made the plays to win, so it's fine. But they did have trouble with that offense. I mean, it wasn't like the Browns were a brick wall. The Browns had, 173 yards on the ground is a lot of yards. So they definitely had a hard time, but
that last touchdown, garbage points.
Who cares? Yeah,
that's my point. Is a lot of those yards in that last drive. That's what.
Holding your nose. I know. But they threw the ball a lot late too. Here's the other thing I want to get to. Schobert was great again. If he keeps playing like this, he's going to make the Pro Bowl because he is all over the field. It reminds. I hate to do this because he's an almost Hall of Famer, but he really is reminding me of Clay Matthews from yesteryear. He really is. He's just all over the ball. He's making plays. Yep. But a bigger credit, too, should be going to that front 4. Vernon, I felt Vernon's player since.
How funny is that? We call him out and he gets a sack in the first
but
series.
He was around the ball more. You could see it. He was around the ball more. Ogunjobi quietly had a really good game, too.
Yep.
I thought Ogunjobi really played well in this game. So they did a nice job. They did enough. And again, the no-name secondary of Mitchell, Carey, and they just keep making plays. Keep making plays, Jared. They're really doing a nice job on defense. They do enough to win games, and they're making plays that turn momentum. So kudos to that defense. And, Wilkes, I hate saying it. I don't know if Wilkes will be here next year. Not because he doesn't want to stay, but I think he might get a head coaching job.
Yeah. No, you're right. That might end up happening. Going back, though, briefly, I got to tell you, and I had this, it was in my gut. There was something telling me the Ravens are fool's gold.
Yeah.
The Ravens were fool's gold. This was not a team that I thought that we were going to struggle too much against. And here we are. I didn't want to jinx it, but the bottom line is they're a one-trick pony. They're a one-trick pony, and with a defense, a friend of mine, somebody had complained about people on defense being hurt, and I said, "Are you kidding me right now?" I said, "Our entire secondary is out, and two of our starting wide receivers are out."
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Give me a break.
And by the way,
give me a break.
And by the way, welcome to the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? The Ravens made some choices, and I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I don't follow the Ravens enough to know. But C.J. Mosley leaving town was a big loss.
We knew that. We felt that when that happened.
And again, Earl Thomas. Hey, Earl Thomas 5 years ago, that's a problem. Earl Thomas right now for the Ravens, he's pulling up when Chubb's going in the end zone. He's doing one of these, I think I'll go to the sideline kind of curl. So that's the big difference with the Ravens. And their defense did get exposed. But to kind of play off what Jared is saying, you know what, though? And it's good for sports and it's good for the Browns. The Ravens and Browns rivalry is back. And you needed to do something like that. Smack the Ratbirds around and, get them upset. Yep. And then
in front of their own fans and make them all stream out in the fourth quarter.
Yes. As Chubb runs, and let me just check. I think Chubb might have just scored again.
Took the wind out.
Oh, my God. Was that beautiful?
But even more beautiful was the second, I thought at least, was him bouncing off of 4 tackles.
I know.
Evading 4 tackles and looping his way over to get that second touchdown.
He is such a
It was insane.
Player. I just think he's such a good player. I just don't think I'm going to keep pumping him up. He is.
And if anybody gets a chance, watch the video of him mic'd up for the game too.
Oh my God, it's wonderful.
Because it's hilarious. All you hear is him working his ass off and other people talking.
Oh, it's great.
He doesn't say anything.
He's quiet. I'm getting a Nick Chubb jersey. I told my son that the other day. I'm getting a Nick Chubb.
Really?
I love Nick Chubb. He's my. I'm slowly. It took me a while, but I'm like, that's my guy. That is my guy.
Wow.
I love him. I love him. Beckham too. Let's get to Beckham. Look, we're not going to break down that bullshit press release fucking article on Ravens.com. They're nice people, I'm sure, but that was a horseshit article. Didn't choke. Look, did Beckham throw punches? Absolutely. Did Humphrey choke Beckham? Yes. Should both players been ejected? Yes. But they weren't. And to see the referee look in as Odell Beckham's getting choked is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Look, Humphrey even apologized after the game. He wasn't apologizing for anything else more than, that might have gone too far. All right? So I don't want to hear this.
I've always thought this too. When you're I don't know why punching with your helmets on would get you ejected. I think that if anything, you're risking your own hands.
Yeah.
So like that to me is not a big deal. It just isn't. Because it doesn't, there's no fit. Like, what are you going to hurt besides yourself if you're hitting someone who's wearing a helmet and wearing those pads? You're not going to hurt. So that's one.
Sure.
The choking thing, that was, I don't know. That was frustrating. You saw it. I don't know how Odell stayed calm.
Well, he said it well. He thought about the team. I'm putting this fire out. He is a team guy. Odell Beckham Jr. is a team guy.
Oh man,
and he is and I'm tired of this shit. I've heard too much, and even in Cleveland radio, is he gonna get upset? He doesn't scored out touchdowns.
Oh,
hey, I'm telling you right now.
Oh my!
I haven't gotten a whiff of this.
Well, there was a certain someone writer who said that he was getting aggravated, and he's not.
I didn't see that.
A certain someone, no names, please. Oh, we'll talk about that. Yes.
Well,
yes.
All I'm gonna say is this: Beckham is really a team guy. He draws attention. That's why Seals Jones, I think if people haven't seen it, Jake Trotter put out a wonderful tweet showing and diagramming how when Beckham really, it was off on the side. It really opened up Seals-Jones. That was that big touchdown in the third quarter that put the Browns back ahead. So Beckham does things. He blocks hard. He runs. He finishes routes. I'm not seeing things, to my point, Jared, of a guy who doesn't give a shit. So that needs, I got to be honest, that's got to stop. I haven't seen one hint of it. One hint of it.
No,
and by the way,
I've loved every time that he's been in front of the cameras.
Yes.
The guy has not. The closest thing to him making a misstep was after the first game of the season, I believe, when he said something about the fans leaving early or something.
Well, right. And by the way,
and he even went back and clarified that and cleaned it up.
I think someone grabbed him like, that's kind of crazy.
Well, I think he knew.
He knew.
And I knew his intent behind that statement, by the way, too. I was never mad by it.
Let me clarify.
But my point is, how?
Love him.
It's like, it's almost like everything that New York media, that New York did to him was contrived. It was all forced and made up.
I am.
Does that make sense? Like, I just don't understand.
Jared, I think it's getting made up even in our circles as Cleveland. Like, I keep hearing stories. It's like, well, where is the evidence? I'm not seeing this.
There's none.
I'm seeing a guy who plays hard. I'm seeing a guy who wants to win. I don't see him pouting. I haven't seen him go off. Freddie and him definitely get along. He seems to be loving Cleveland. I don't get it. Are we trying to drive up stories? I felt that way for the first time a little bit, and I was surprised. Because it feels like, why are we drumming up story where there's no story? There's no story.
He's having fun. Did you see him? Did you see Hayden Grove posted this video the other day?
I didn't see it, no.
Sitting outside of practice, and Odell walked behind him and made a face, photobombed him a little bit in the video. Yeah. He's just having fun.
I just think, look, do I think he wants big numbers and big touchdowns? Oh, my God, of course. Who wouldn't? I get that. But he sees the bigger picture, and you will be halted as a legend if you can do the things you can do in the playoffs in this town.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it is.
Anyways.
Yeah, it is. So I just think all that stuff gets way overblown and way overanalyzed. As we do this podcast live, it's Saturday, and Penn State's already up 14-0 on my poor Boilermakers. I think they're only a good.
Sorry, brother.
All right. Some of us may have picked the Boilers against the line. But anyways, back to more important things than the Browns. Beckham, I love him, and people can't get this is my big point with Beckham. Don't get too stat crazy. Beckham played a great...
And he'll get his numbers.
He will, but he played a great game on Sunday. His blocking, how he finished routes, and by the way, he only made 2 catches, but one of those catches was at the end of the game where the Browns needed a first down, and guess who caught the ball? 13. Yeah.
He leads by example, Andy.
Does.
We talked about him, whether he's a leader or not.
He is a leader.
I felt like it. He leads by example.
Yes.
And I think a part of that has to do with the fact that he's there with Landry. Him and Juice
no question. That's why this all made sense.
They're great together.
That's why it's a great trade. That's why you and I got so excited. That's why we're still excited, because it makes sense. Anyways, great win. Fuck the Ratbirds. And again, I know some people are nice guys, and they're nice people over there in the Ravens. They're good people. That was a bullshit posting about that story about Landry.
Yeah, it was better. Sometimes things are better left unsaid.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Was it some lame attempt at trolling? Because I think that's
again,
the only thing I can come up with.
The rivalry is back. The rivalry is back. Okay. Mm-hmm. Before we get ahead to the Niners, let's do a quarter pole check here real quick. Browns are 2-2. We'll call them a half game up because they beat the Ravens on the road, and I think that is a half game lead. Technically, it's not, but it's a half game. They still haven't played the Dolphins, the Cardinals, Bengals twice. So there's things down the road. They had the Titans, whatever that was. So I'll ask you first, how do you feel 2-2?
I feel like we left some on the table, but I can live with it.
I feel the exact same way. The Titans game is going to... I heard Grossi say, and I agree with him, it's like a lingering bad taste.
Well, it's just... The problem with starting 2-2 is that while we have an easier back end of the schedule, it really leaves less room for error.
No, it does. It does.
Right? 3-1 would really, really, really set us apart. Not only in the division, but for the rest of the season.
Especially with the games ahead. Niners in San Francisco.
Yes.
Seattle at home. a bye week, but no bye after that. You play the Patriots. 3 tough games. You and I both agree. If the Browns go 1-3, which I don't think they will, it wouldn't shock me. These are 3 hard games. 3. Tough.
Boy, well, and you're talking about a Niners team that's had plenty of rest, and you're going to talk about playing a Seattle team that's going to have a ton of rest.
Yeah, Thursday night game. Yeah.
Where we're losing a day. It's frustrating. It's frustrating that that's the situation, but
it's going to make you tough. It's going to make you better. And that's why maybe this game on Monday night is a little bit more juice than what we think.
I really think that I feel that this game's very important just because the Seattle and the New England game are going to be so difficult.
I'm with you. So let's get into the Niners. Everybody talks about Jimmy G, and we'll get to him second because I think, it's our good friend Kyle Shanahan, and he's doing a nice job of 3-0 right now. But similar, and I guess in a good way, but they do it very differently. Where the Browns are playing a team, and the Niners are like to run the ball a lot, and they're very successful running the ball. They have that shifting scheme. It's almost like a stretch. I'm using the words from Grossi, but I know what he means by this. A stretch zone offense really allows the Browns. They did some big things with them in 2014 with this, but the Niners run the same thing. And the Niners do a nice job making yards, making things go on the ground. So the Browns are going to be tested again, similar to the Ravens. That's why I brought up the Ravens run game. They're going to be tested again in this game by the Niners. Jimmy G he's a good starter. I looked at his numbers. I mean, decent, good quarterback. Nothing really, though, makes your jaw drop. Nothing really makes you say, man, this guy's a superstar. He's 11-2. He does the necessary things to win games, but he's not a wow or a big, big star. And that's my overall theme here too, Jared. I looked at the Niners roster, no stars. Not a lot of guys their names.
Again, Tampa Bay, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh.
Yes.
That's why you're 3-0.
Yes.
That's why you're 3-0.
Yes.
Granted, there's something to be said about taking care of those games that you're supposed to. But I wouldn't go any further than that.
Yeah.
Because all you have to do is look to the Ravens.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah.
Because the Ravens wins, same look.
Yep. Standing up against the bad teams, which is what you're supposed to do. The other big storyline, I think, in this game, Jared, I don't know how you feel. The strength of the Niners, when I was reading about them and getting to know them better, is their lines, offense and defensive lines. So I think the Browns' lines, which obviously has been thought about differently than some of us think, that you and I think, the offensive line will be tested in this game. People need to remember Bosa is now playing for the Niners. He's we all know how good he is. Armstead's very good. Buckner's very good. They have a good front four. And it's going to test that offensive line. And in reverse, too, like I just said, what Kyle Shanahan does on offense is going to test the defensive line. This is a good test of lines in this game. After this game, if the Browns win and they hold their own, I don't want to hear anything more about the offensive line. I really don't. Yeah. I don't want to hear anything more about the offensive line after this game.
Yeah. Again, though, how nervous are you about the line?
It's
going into this game.
Again, San Francisco, Monday night game, team that's had now 15 days because they've had a long couple weeks here to get the extra day out. And look, if you want to get into concerns, there's some concerns. Good news is Landry's going to play. It's Saturday when we're doing this podcast, but I would assume Landry's going to play. Higgins is limited in practice. That's been the same story for the last 3 games, so that's nothing different. I would say at this point, Ward or Greedy Williams, these hamstrings, neither of them practice on Friday. If they practice, I think they play. But Jared, I don't see any. I've heard no signs of them playing so far. None. So, do you eventually get burned by Mitchell and Carey? I don't know, but I haven't seen that yet, to be honest with you. And again, the Browns front four have done a nice job. So I don't think, is that a major concern? I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I just
because I think the guys on the field are hungry.
I do too. I will say though, this is a good this is a good test for the Browns. This is a tricky game. It's a really tricky game.
This is also a game where they can turn, they could pull off 3 interceptions off of Jimmy Garoppolo, and I wouldn't be surprised either.
They could. And Callaway's back. Landry. You found Seals Jones. You have some new weapons in here.
Offensively, yeah. Offensively, the Browns are primed to. This is like they put up 40 without having the full offense.
And again,
in a sense, on the Ravens, this has the potential of being fun on Monday night. It really
I know
does.
You're alluding.
I do. Now that we talk about Hubbard and him being limited, I think that's maybe my biggest worry out of all.
Yeah, and he was limited last week and he played, so he'll be okay. I think he'll be okay. I think he's going to be in there. I think the big thing, again, the Browns are going to have a target on their back. The Niners are going to play up for this game. Kyle Shanahan's going to coach up for this game. They're going to want some things. But again, you just kind of hinted at it. If you look on paper, why would you think the Niners are going to beat the Browns? Because the Browns have far better players. The Browns have, actually, they're kind of in the same, the Niners aren't a veteran team either. So it isn't like they have like veterans who've been around. Honestly, they don't. Even Jimmy G, he's only started 13 games. This will be his 14th start. Baker started more games than Jimmy G. I mean, it just points to everything I guess it's time to predict. I am surprised. I think the Browns are going to win this game. I really do. I think it's going to be close. I do think the Niners are going to play up. I do think the Niners are going to really, really be excited about Monday Night Football. They're 3-0. All to be said, I just don't see the Niners hanging around this game. I see it being close and kind of similar to the Ravens. I think as the game goes on, it kind of spreads apart. I say 31-21 Browns, something like that.
Oh, okay. I think that I think the Browns put up more than 31.
Wow.
I think the Browns put up 42.
Damn.
I really do. I feel like this offense goes off this Monday. I'm going to say 42, maybe 24, 42-24, 42-28. I think the Niners put up some points, but they're late.
Yep.
That's there's no other way for me to look at this right now. There just isn't.
No. I think the Browns are ready to ripe. Oh, we're going to do the schedule game here too. It is now, for those of you who don't care, which I'm about ready to change the channel, it's now 21-0 Penn State. We still got about 6 minutes left to go here in this game. In the first quarter. But going back to the Browns, I really think, to Jared's point, but the one thing that I'm cautious about is it wouldn't surprise me if the Niners win. This is a big road test of success here because the Niners aren't world beaters. Jared hit upon it. It's a winnable game. And if you look down the road, the Seahawks are looming and the Patriots are looming. You want to win this game if you can. Put this game in your back pocket. Put this game in your back pocket.
It really is important.
We kind of hit upon them, and then let's do the schedule game. What do you expect from Callaway? I'm not expecting much. I would be interested to see if he's receiving kicks, though.
I don't think he's going to receive kicks. I think Landry's going to stay back. Well, if they're not nervous about Landry taking a hit, Landry will stay back there.
Right.
I feel more comfortable with Landry controlling the ball, catching balls back there. But I think Callaway has the possibility of a touchdown and 100+ yards.
Yep.
I do. We'll see. It all depends. Again, it depends on whether Higgins is there. I think that having Callaway out there with that breakaway speed is really going to make the Niners struggle on who they're going to cover.
I think a big thing too, going to Higgins. If Higgins misses this game, I kind of wonder if they put him up on the shelf because of the bye week looming. If Higgins doesn't play against the Niners, I don't know why you'd play him against the Seahawks. Give him an extra 2 weeks to get healthy. I mean, you're getting that point now. Yeah. You need to give that guy time. I think it's a big week for Higgins. If Higgins doesn't start, I'll just predict it. I don't think he plays against the Seahawks just because you need time. He needs time to heal, and that bye week I think will help him out a lot. All right, let's do the schedule game quickly. We both like the Browns. Seahawks. If we had to pick today, not knowing what's going to happen, Seahawks.
It's at home, but I don't think they win it.
I think they win that game. Patriots after a bye week.
I think they win that game.
I think they lose. I hope I'm wrong. Broncos win.
Yep.
Bills win.
Win.
Steelers win.
beat the fuck out
We're
of
going to
them.
be there. We'll talk about that more soon. Dolphins.
Yep, win.
Steelers.
Yep, win. In Pittsburgh. They're going to kill. What are they going to do?
I think they win, but I think it's really close. Bengals win.
I think they destroy everyone.
Well, look
in the
at this though.
division
We don't
this
have
year. I'm sorry. There's no.
My point is, okay, Cardinals win.
Yeah, win.
Ravens.
Yeah, win.
And they rest their players.
I think that Ravens game at home might be the trickiest of that whole of all everything we said besides the Seattle.
There's a reason why I did this. After New England, I don't see a whole lot more losses. Our games are really fucking bothering me.
I don't either. Like,
let me read them again. Broncos on the road, no fucking way. Even Mile High, bullshit. We killed that. we stomped that
not
fucking
a chance
horse.
no.
All right, Bills. Okay, they're playing well, but come on. I love all you Bills Mafia people, but you're not Venus. Come on, you're in the way. Steelers, Dolphins. Steelers. I think that's tricky, but okay, they still win it. Bengals at home, no way they lose that game. Arizona Cardinals, no way they lose that. I mean, that might be the only game where I could see them maybe falling asleep at the wheel, but even then, I don't see them losing that game. Ravens at home, they win, and I don't know if they lose another game.
Just talking about it makes me laugh my ass off because, oh boy. I hope, Andy, I hope that we're not just coming off this complete domination in Baltimore and setting ourselves up for the horse shit. I mean, because we got to say, admittedly, the first 4 games haven't exactly gone exactly as planned.
No, the Browns have been.
But at the same time, they're growing into this thing as a team. Here's
my
by the time we get there, they've been tested. They've been tested, right? They're tested up front.
Here's my final point. If they win 2 out of the next 3, they won't, but the Browns can start putting us in cruise. If they win 2 out of their next 3, a lot of wins.
Don't get ahead of yourselves. Play 1 week at a time. Keep your heads down.
I'll face plan it.
Keep cleaning up the penalties. Yes. Don't get cute.
Let's get the yacht. Let's put it out front. Let's get the champagne. Let's bring on the caviar.
No, don't do that yet.
No, I'm teasing.
Don't do that.
I'm teasing, but there are very big possibilities. I can't even spell yacht, let alone put on my yacht.
Oh God, that just reminds me of the Indians World Series and what was it? 90? Was it 90? Was it 96, 97? I can't remember which year it was.
But the point is,
they brought the trophy into the dugout or into the locker room.
Confirmed by multiple people. I think some guy did a documentary on that little moment. But anyways, that's for another day. Here's the bigger thing here. These first 7 games have been challenging. The last 9 are not so bad. So you really want to look at it that way. There you go. Okay, quickly in the NFL. Boy, the Rams left town and haven't won since. They lost again. I didn't watch much of this game. I was more watching baseball. I know I'm the old fuddy-duddy dinosaur, but I was watching the baseball game.
Too.
But the Seahawks, they somehow pulled out. I'll do some picks again online. The NFL, my NFL picks have been strange this year, but they were good last week. I went 3-1. Saints with a great win against Dallas. It's funny. How many times have we seen classic Steelers-Bengals games in the last 5-10 years? Boy, this is a classic for all the wrong reasons. That was fucking dreadful. Woo! Oh my God, was that bad? Bengals are really bad, and the Steelers.
It was like watching 2 dying cats going at it. It was just pathetic.
Oh my God. Yeah, the Steelers do have a defense, but boy, that's about it. Boy, you don't hear about Connors anymore, do you? Where's that guy?
No.
You don't hear about him?
No. And Sanders is apparently who.
Boy,
was the breakout guy last week. Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
I don't care either.
Screw him.
Kirk Cousins stinks. Tampa Bay puts a double nickel in L.A. Woo! Double nickel. Boy, in the last 2 games, the Rams have given up 85 points. Where was that defense in Cleveland? Boy, it's amazing how fast it turns. Again, I'll do my picks. I'll put them up online. Games to watch. Packers, Cowboys. That's a classic game. Great game. The Monday night game is really good, as we all know. Bears, Raiders, always interesting. It's in London. Tampa Bay, New Orleans is sneaky good, to be honest with you, because Tampa Bay's been playing better lately. And if you really want a big test and you really want to drive someone nuts, you're probably a fan of neither. The Vikings need to win that game. And Pat Shurmur, finito. If they can ever win that game, they go to 3-2. And 2 of those wins without Barkley. So that's an interesting crossroads game. Is Kirk Cousins needs a road win, and boy, the Giants just need to keep winning. To keep jobs. So there you go. There's your quick rundown. I know you're all been waiting for it. I know Jared and I are very excited. Let's tip it off. Cavs basketball.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
In all seriousness, I love this John Beilein hire. As we all know. If you don't, we talked about it last year. Great hire. There are some wonderful articles being written on The Athletic, so I will go through a few of the things I'm seeing and then go into some things that actually already concern me a little bit, and I'll get in Jared's thoughts. Beilein is very much bringing us back to old school. He teaches fundamentals. He talks about discipline and efficiency. I mean, these are things you usually don't hear about in the NBA from coaches, but Beilein really talks about that. Talks about team emphasis. The rookie Porter, quote, he's a very genuine guy, good intentions guy. He just wants the best for all of us, and he's adjusting to being a rookie in this league and me being a rookie. It's fun at times to develop with each other. Look, this doesn't mean wins. It doesn't mean anything more.
It does not mean wins.
But I like to hear this. I do like to hear this. Beilein, look, I know. This is the most non-sexiest opener for the Cavs ever.
Well, it's just Andy, it's everything that we could hope for right now. Just don't let it become a shit show, right? That's all we want. Just don't let it become a shit show.
That was my point. I don't see it becoming that way. Now, it doesn't mean they're not going to have some bad losses at the beginning, but I do think that.
Right.
The only thing, and I think this has been the biggest thing that's killed the buzz, because when you're bad, you get the big draft picks. Darius Garland, still out with a minor foot injury. The other kid, Windler, he's out. He's going to be out for 4 or 6 weeks with a lower leg injury. Porter, very raw. Doesn't sound like he's going to be playing right away. Jared, for a team that had a lot of draft picks, and I like Darius Garland, and I think he's got a lot of potential, and that was the right draft pick. Darius, I mean, they're already talking about shutting him down because of the injuries. Jared, that's not a good start for Darius Garland's career in Cleveland. It's concerning.
I don't understand where all these injuries are coming from. What are they playing backyard football on the weekends?
Like Windler, I understand he played summer league, but Garland didn't play summer league. Garland worries me. I gotta be honest. It's early, and we haven't seen him even touch the ball yet. But boy, to have to shut him down. Ooh, I don't like hearing that term. Shutting him down. Why are we shutting anyway down right now? Yeah. I mean, gosh, he didn't play. So I would keep your eye on that. I think that's a worry. I think that's a red flag. I think that's
rightfully so.
I think that's the right draft pick. And that was a guy I wanted them to pick. So it's on me too. But man, I hope he's going to come back soon. The big thing is guards with Beilein. And he talks about the depth in these articles. Beilein talks about him on quote either. I think the big thing that I like early on, Jared, that I did see is he is very high on Clarkson. There's not a better Wolf on this team than Jordan Clarkson. He's hunting. We need a hunter at that position, end quote. I would like to see Jordan Clarkson get a real shot and be taught some basketball. Not that these other guys didn't teach, they taught too. But I really would like to see Clarkson in the system. So I think he could really thrive and be a big scorer for the Cavs. And you know what? You can tell Beilein's relying on it, which is good. I think it's a great chance for Jordan Clarkson. Big shot for this kid.
Gonna have to rely on it.
He's gonna have to, right.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, Colin Sexton too. And Brandon Knight. I don't know about Delly, but I think Knight and Sexton and Clarkson are going to get a big opportunity, especially if Garland's not playing. So that's the early returns from the Cavs.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know how high you can get on Brandon Knight.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Well said. Well said.
That's not a knock on him. It's just I don't know what his ceiling might be limited.
So you see all the surrounding stuff, and people need to remember, and I should remind myself. You got Tristan Thompson. Who knows what you're going to get? I hope this year he plays better. I think having John Beilein will actually help Thompson. So I think he will take to his coaching. I think he'll thrive in it. And Kevin Love, I think, is going to thrive in this system. I really do. We have not mentioned Love yet. So you like some of the things early. Again, Garland, though, is a negative. I know it's only an early thing, but I don't like hearing those words. We had to shut him down. Gosh, why? It's so early to be saying that. But all that to be said, the Cavs are rolling the balls out. It's good to see. I'm very excited about Beilein. I think as the season progresses, you're going to feel beeline. I don't think it's going to be instantaneous success.
I'm sure. I think you and I are going to have to go up there and watch a few games.
I
this
agree.
Season too. I really want to see how this plays out.
I
and
do
comes
too.
together.
I well said. I would love to see the Cavs play. Yes.
There's something about this post-LeBron era that just feels a lot better than the last time around.
Yep.
And I feel like this is a team that a lot of people are going to be rooting for.
Yeah. We'll bring on Hayden Grove after the bye week to talk about Browns and the Cavs. Because that'll be around the time, too, as the Cavs tip off from around the late...
Yeah, he might want to correct me on the Brandon Knight stuff. I know that's his buddy.
Yeah. It's okay. And
sorry,
by the way,
Hayden.
we did not bring up, everybody's man, people have listened. I don't dislike Chetty, and I want Chetty to do well. I'm not as high on Chetty as other people are, but Chetty, too, should be playing better in this kind of system, and he should thrive. And he is regarded very highly. I think Sexton is the guy, though, and I think he's going to explode and have a big year. I think Sexton and Love are going to have big years.
As they should.
As they should as right.
As they absolutely should.
So
Correct.
after the Seahawks game, we'll bring back Hayden, talk Cavs, talk Browns. We'll do the Cavs as we go along. The only thing, though, again, let's keep your eye on Garland. That's an interesting development early with his little career. Okay, let's wrap this thing up. As Jared appropriately put it, the corn was roasted. The Huskers really never got on to it. I don't even know what you'd call that. For such hype and such excitement, and for even someone like me who said, okay, I'm not a Cornhusker fan, but I get the Scott Frost thing.
I called it.
I did too. We both did. I knew after the Colorado loss and what I saw in Indiana, this is a top 4 team all year. Injuries and, mental aside, this is a top 4 team. And they proved it.
So here's my superstition coming out.
Okay.
These big hype wearing the black uniform games, prime time on a Saturday night at home against Sparty. These are the games that make me nervous.
You know what?
These are the ones that make me go, oh boy.
Well,
don't get ahead of yourselves.
Well,
don't let the hype get out in front of you.
Jared brings up a lot of good points. D'Antone is big in these spots. He loves these spots. He comes from the Tressel Youngstown family. And you know what? It doesn't fucking matter. The Buckeyes are going to fucking roll the Spartans. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I have never been more wrong.
Why do you hope you're wrong?
I think they're going to flip them by 30 plus. I love the Buckeyes in this game. The Spartans are overrated. They shouldn't be ranked. And it's going to be a nightmare.
I don't think I got to be honest. I don't think anyone's touching Ohio State. I just don't. I don't. They're in a category all on their own. Oh, and by the way, what did Cincinnati end up doing last night?
Beat UCF.
There you go. So to claim that Ohio State hasn't played anyone,
Jared, this is a top 4 team. I miss the old Buckeyes from last year where they'd lose to Purdue. This is not the old Buckeyes. This is
no, it's not.
This team's ready.
Ryan Day is for real.
Yeah, I mean maybe it's close in the first half, sure, but this game's not getting close. Sorry. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't. Ohio State, you talk about yachts.
Stop with the hope you're wrong shit.
Yachts and caviar and champagne. That's what we're going to be drinking on High Street. All right, Jared Watson's going to do some yoga as I talk about the Irish here. So look, the Irish had a big win against UVA. UVA is sneaky good. He's going to put down his mic. I love this. Look, people love the Irish in Northeast Ohio. There's a big contention.
I'm just letting you go. That's all.
The Irish did what they had to do. The defensive line for the Irish is one of the best it's such a fucking shame because the Irish defensive line is one of the best in the country, and they have young guys who attack the ball. UVA is sneaky good. I could see them giving a game to Clemson in the ACC championship game. Irish did what they had to do. They got the win. UVA played really well in this game, and the Irish defense flipped the game. Kudos to them. Book is playing better. Kudos to him, too. But the stars of the game were the defensive line. The defensive line won this game for the Irish. They have a bye week. Bowling Green comes to town, 3:30 NBC. Even I, who love the Irish, will not be watching this game. I'll be watching it for the first quarter. Then I'll be flipping it over to the big game, which is Auburn, Florida, 3:30. And, honestly, on right now, too, is a big game, Iowa, Michigan. Here's my couple quick thoughts about college football, because I know this is winter ratings dip, so I'll make it short. I was surprised about Clemson getting a scare against Carolina. And I'm surprised how many people think that was enough to flip Bama and Clemson. Clemson's the best team in the country still. Until you beat them, they are number one. And watch out for, you kind of hinted upon it too, the two Tigers in the SEC, LSU and Auburn. Both those teams are very, very good. If Auburn wins...
LSU surprised me.
If Auburn wins this game today being Saturday in the Swamp, holy cow, Auburn's ready to rock and roll. Even with Georgia coming to town. Even with LSU and Bama coming to town. Big game. I've been impressed. Auburn smoked Mississippi State. Smoked. So there's my picks. I did my online picks. You can check every week. I've had a bad run in college football picks lately. Did better in the pros. And yes, I am a diehard Purdue fan. I'm also, my mom's side of the family went to Notre Dame, so I'm a huge Notre Dame fan. That's why I did my Notre Dame spiel. I love Purdue. Love it. They're about ready to go down 28-0 here in the beginning of the second quarter. So it is not. When you don't have
Team Up North is taking care of Iowa right now too, aren't they?
It's amazing how a jump game can do, and what I mean by that is like a jump in energy. They need a Rutgers. Rutgers came to Ann Arbor, and look how well Michigan's playing now. Rutgers is your game if you're feeling blue. Feel all good again inside.
I just, I ended up watching. I told you this before. I watched that stupid video after they beat Rutgers in the locker room, and that who's got it better than us? And, it's just cringy. It's cringy.
Well, good news is
because I don't care. They can beat Iowa. They can do whatever. Andy, I'm sorry, but we're at a point, and we don't have to get into this all that much right now. But it needs to be said. That team up north is embarrassing. They make me cringe. It's gotten that bad in Ann Arbor, in my opinion. So while they'll beat Iowa, of course.
Hey, Iowa's on the goal line.
A lot of times when
they're about ready to score.
And you know what? Maybe they won't beat Iowa, and then it'll just continue my theme. Either way, beat Iowa, don't beat Iowa. What's going on in Ann Arbor is becoming a complete embarrassment at this point.
Yes, and bring it on. Want more? Not enough.
You want more of it? I mean, I don't think it does the Big Ten any good.
Here's the one thing to what Jared's alluding to, which, okay, there's one team. Wisconsin looks very good. Wisconsin, Ohio State's going to be a big game. We should bring Nathan Baird back on.
Right.
That's going to be a big, big game. Wisconsin, there you go. That's the team. You want a circle game? That's the game.
We'll see. I mean, you're right. That's what I'm thinking too. I was.
That's the game. That's Penn State, Michigan's yes. That's the other game. Wisconsin's going to be hard. They can beat Ohio State. They can beat Ohio State.
All right, we'll see.
We'll see is right. So to recap, Nick Chubb for president. All the other talent around the team I love. But Nick Chubb had a great week. He deserves all the accolades. He had a wonderful game. Again, long term, the Browns probably have players who are going to have longer careers because of the position or whatever. But I'm telling you, Nick Chubb right now is playing the best on this team. I'm sorry.
Yep.
He really is. He's having a wonderful year, and that says a lot about this team. Jared and I went through the schedule game. Again, if the Browns can take 2 out of 3, I think they have a big possibility of rolling double-digit numbers and by the end of the year. And I think that's where you come out on. Buckeyes are on fire. And again, I hate to do this, but I will. Keep your eye on the Darius Garland story. Rough start. You don't want to. You hope that doesn't linger. You hope it's just a little setback, turn into a bigger positive. They need Darius Garland for energy, for buzz, and for the team.
Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Cleveland and Beyond. On Twitter @CLE and Beyond. Send us an email, andyandjared@gmail.com. Follow us on our websites, andyandjared.com or clevelandandbeyond.net. Listen to the podcast anywhere podcasts can be found. iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and your Alexa device. Everybody, thanks for listening. Go Buckeyes.
Go.
I don't think they're going to have trouble tonight.
Oilers?
Don't forget to check out waitingfornextyear.com. Original Cleveland sports reporting right there, waitingfornextyear.com. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Andy and Jared, Cleveland and Beyond. Talk again soon. Take care.